Time once again, everybody, for On Point Live. I'm Michael Horn, but the stars of our show are the fearless quarterback known for leading the Rams to Super Bowl in 1979 with that cannon arm. We're talking about number 15, Vince Ferragamo, alongside Vince, Hall of Famer, 7-time Pro Bowler, 4-time NFC Offensive Lineman of the Year, number 78, Jackie Slater. Gentlemen, welcome to your show.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Mike. Mike, you know what I got to tell you, Mike? It was an absolute wonderful evening that Vince and I enjoyed together last night.
What'd you do?
We went out and we participated in the annual Child Help fundraiser. They raised probably close to $250,000 for help abused and injured children, and it was just an unbelievable crowd there that showed up and just showed out, man. It was so much fun.
There you go. There's some pictures there, Jackie.
Vince there's Eileen Saul right there, our old starting center and the leader of our offensive line. And when we went to Super Bowl 14.
And the Rams cheerleaders.
That's his wife right there in the middle with Vince, and those are two Rams cheerleaders. The Rams always participate in this effort because it's outstanding in the community. There's Vince, and then
I got to introduce that guy. That guy's Tim Hager in the middle.
Tim Hager.
He was a third-string quarterback for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, Jackie, back in the day.
And that's Rich Saul's son there on the right, Josh. He's a fine young man. He bid it at $10,000.
Jackie, you know he hit the ball 300 yards on a hole.
Is that right?
We played it 18 rounds.
You can tell he's been lifting.
Oh, man,
and then that's Rich Saul's daughter, Jamie, Vince,
mm-hmm.
and I. Man, it was just an unbelievable evening, Mike. I wish you could have been there.
Me too.
It was unbelievable. The food was good too, but just the people, man, the fun that we had and the camaraderie.
They raised a lot of money, Michael.
They raised a lot of money. I dare say they raised pretty close to $300,000.
Wow!
Just in the bidding alone after dinner, Vince.
Auction, yeah.
Not the silent auction.
Yeah, my wine went pretty good too, and so did your golf outing, Jackie.
Absolutely,
your golf outing went for $5,000.
I got to be the worst golfer in the history of the game, and I got two sets of people that bid to play golf with me. I'm going to go out and just tee the ball up for him, Mike.
You get to go out. Maybe I should have bid on that. Jackie with a golf outing. That's good. And Vince, your wine went really well too,
It was a hit. Yeah, we started the whole auction off with that wine.
We did.
We had a vertical going, Mike. 20, 21, 22, 23. It was good.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll find out more about that. The show is On Point Live. Subscribe to On Point Live with Vince and Jackie. Check out our website, onpointlive.net. Our sponsor, harmonycheese.com. And don't forget to email us, onpoint@crntalk.com. Again, it's On Point Live, onpoint@crntalk.com. Welcome back to On Point Live. Our producer, Corey Marino. I'm Michael Horn. Once again, the stars of our show. The guy we call the Energizer Bunny, number 78, Jackie Slater, Hall of Famer. Vince Ferragamo, who played around a little bit in the NFL, was with the Rams, was with Green Bay, was with Buffalo. You know, we never talk about this, but I got to ask you a question. You left the NFL, since we're going to be talking about the NFL taking the show on the road. You played in Montreal. Why did that whole thing fail in Montreal, in your estimation, Vince Ferragamo?
Well, the game is so much different, Michael, up there. They only play 3 downs. The field's much wider and longer. They motion players at the snap of the ball all over the field. They play with 12 players, which is totally different than 11. And since the game is only 3 downs and wider, it opens up a whole different offense. So it's not really a true typical NFL style that you see played in Canadian football. But it's it was the only thing we had back in the day because we didn't have free agency. Right. We were the pioneers of getting that started in the NFL.
There.
Right. Yeah.
Don't tell that to Roger Goodell. He might go on put that into the new season here with it.
Right.
Jackie Slater,
Mike,
let me ask you. You are a cheese expert, and our sponsor is harmonycheese.com. The NFL, we're going to be talking a little bit later on in the show, is taking their show on the road. Will Harmony Cheese be traveling with you and when you're traveling with the football teams?
Well, I won't be. First of all, I will not be traveling with any football teams. Secondly, I will not be taking any Harmony Cheese with me. But thirdly, it is my favorite cheese. My refrigerator is loaded down, as you well know. And Abergele and six pepper cheddar are my favorite flavors. And one other thing, I do not eat my cheese grated. the way that Vince does.
Vince?
Yeah, and that cheese wouldn't be around too long in those locker rooms. Let me tell you something. It'd be
I'll
gone
tell you.
in a
And
heartbeat.
Vince, your wine went for some big bids last night.
It did.
And so I'm thinking this is making Harmony cheese even more valuable.
Well, it certainly does, Mike, because you just can't drink wine alone. You have to drink wine with food, right? And then cheese
That's
and
right.
wine are
Wait a
great
minute.
pairings.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Last night, let me tell you, Mike. Last night, Vince
Yep.
he enticed the women in the place to buy his wine. You know what he said?
What did he say?
He said,
What?
"You get yourself a bottle of Ferragamo wine,
Uh-huh.
and you ladies lay down and
Uh-huh.
take a sip of this wine and lay down and watch Vince and Jackie on Point Live and just watch me and doze on off to sleep." That's that's what he said.
Just dial in
You
YouTube,
can't be enticing.
TV.
You can't be enticing these ladies to drink your wine and watch you.
Just dial in
Because you
yeah,
got the pretty
YouTube,
boy
you got
name.
YouTube channel.
See, they've been calling him
Vince and
pretty boy for all
Jackie.
these
On
years. I
Point
think
Live.
it's gone to his head, Mike. He thinks he's a pretty boy.
I think they're going to be watching the cheese, and that's going to get going. Just a reminder for you, Harmony Cheese is our sponsor. Get to their website, harmonycheese.com. If you're a first-time person to order, when you check out, mention CRN Talk. Get 10% off your order. Now, gentlemen,
Yes.
let's get into the schedule. We're a little ways away from the beginning of the season, but Corey Marino has somehow gotten into Roger Goodell's office and pulled out some of the scheduling and the traveling that's going on in the NFL, winners and losers for 2026. Let's start with the winners. Green Bay Packers. They got a favorable opening schedule, and they got first four opponents all missed the playoffs last season.
Right.
Schedule gives Green Bay a chance to start 3-1 or 4-0. And
But you missed
Michael
the key point,
Parsons-
Mike.
What's that?
And that's the fact that they start off with the first 3 or 4 games there against teams that didn't do well last year, and that
Correct.
happens to coincide with the availability of arguably the best pass rusher in pro football in Michael Parsons' return.
That's right.
So
He's gonna rest.
it appears that the schedulers looked at the fact that this guy was going to be out of the lineup. Maybe they can win these games without him, so they gave him 3 ducks to play against, and then when the schedule starts getting heavy, he should be healthy to return. It's awfully suspicious, but that's what Vince and I were talking about before.
What do you think, Vince?
Before we started?
Well, there's a lot that goes into this selection committee, and I think maybe Stan Kroenke has something to do with this being a chairman of the selection schedule committee, because some teams were very lenient with the way they've scheduled these games, in particular either traveling abroad, because there's 9 games that are going to be played internationally this year.
9.
And 9 games, and then the time frame between games, between week to week. And so Jackie mentioned Green Bay starts off with an easier schedule. So does the Kansas City Chiefs. The heart of their schedule is towards the midsection to later part of the season for them. But this will give a chance for Patrick Mahomes, for their defense to get up to speed with Spagnuolo. So I think it's going to help the Chiefs in a way. Some teams, the Tennessee Titans, have a pretty easy schedule. They fly the less miles. But interesting fact, the San Francisco 49ers have to travel over 38,000 miles this coming season. The second to travel the most miles are the LA Rams. But the Rams have a pretty lenient schedule as far as the way it's been set up. They're predicted to win 13 games because of the scheduling. Now, is that something that's been predetermined, or is that just happened by chance? I don't know.
Vince, what I want to know is, why did you call Stan Kroenke's name? What does he have to do
Well,
with
he's the owner of the Rams, and maybe they want to see this team be successful for some reason. I think because of the way they've got everything set up, Jackie, they had their only game that they have to wait 5 games before the next game is the Arizona Cardinals. Okay? The Arizona Cardinals, that's an easy game for the Rams. Okay? They play the 49ers the first game of the season. Instead of playing them at home, they play in Australia. So they can't beat the 49ers at home. So let's schedule them away from home. Okay,
Far
and
away
I
as we
don't
can get.
agree with the rivalry games being played abroad.
No, I
Michael.
don't either.
I don't like that fact. They
Well, I
should
don't-
both be
That's the
played
statement.
at their home field.
Yeah, I
hey,
agree.
schedule somebody that's you have to play across the country, like Tampa Bay
Well,
Buccaneers, and
I
let them
do
go
agree.
play across.
I do agree with you, Vince, and what you said relative to the home field advantage, particularly in divisional games where you like the San Francisco and the Rams. But we found that the 49ers have done far better at SoFi Stadium than they've done when they've hosted the Rams. However, I don't think Stan Kroenke has anything to do with this. I think what we need to be doing is looking at the guys who are on the team selection committees for when these teams are playing and when they're not playing. These are the people who, in my opinion, when you look at it, my first feelings were this. Let them have, like you said, the home field advantage. There's nobody would have a better home field advantage than the Rams and SoFi, except for when the 49ers come. And if you just look around the country, that's true. Home field advantage is a real thing. Why not allow that to happen? But if you're trying to grow a league, which it appears from all of this that we are learning that the National Football League is trying to do, and become an international brand, then you have to give them some credit for doing the things that they do that are a little bit uncomfortable for the teams that are playing right now, but is more endearing to perhaps a universal fan base and drawing more people in from around the world. And I think that's a very real possibility that we need to consider. Because I do believe this is the best game in the world.
Yeah.
Well, I do too, but you talk your Packers. You talk about they get a favorable opening schedule. Micah Parsons comes back week 5. Seattle Seahawks. They're the defending Super Bowl champs. They have 7 standalone games, including 6 in prime time. They've got 5 primetime home games in the NFL. Seattle benefits because they'll have a home field advantage at Lumen Field. The Titans, one of the league's easiest travel and scheduling setups, have a full week of rest before every game. Only one game is outside their home time zone by more than an hour. What the heck did they feed into this deal?
Mike, you think about that Titan situation.
Yeah.
One of the big things that the National Football League does not want to see, and that is a lack of parity. I think they want each and every of these 32 teams to appear vulnerable. I mean, not vulnerable, but in a position where they can beat any and everybody. They don't want lame duck teams that people are playing and just walking all over. And so when you look at this schedule, it's easy for me to conclude that this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to balance things out, give teams an opportunity to grow. Don't throw the weak to the mighty all the time.
All right, send them to
and
France.
go that direction.
Send them to France with some harmonycheese.com, and we'll have everything set up for you. This is On Point Live with Vince Ferragamo and Jackie Slater. We'll take a break. When we come back, more with Vince and Jackie. We're back with On Point Live. Want to say hello to a new radio audience that we've got out there. SMSN Radio, your home for sports. Welcome aboard. You're here on the On Point Live Beacon. I'm Michael Horn. Corey Marino, our producer, the stars of our show, Vince Ferragamo and Jackie Slater. So, Vince,
Yes.
Jackie, we talked about a couple of the winners. Let's talk about some losers in the new schedule. How about the New England Patriots?
Oh, they have a tough schedule to start this season, Mike. I mean, everybody was complaining last year because their schedule was so lenient.
Yes.
It was light, okay, and they won 14 games during the regular season. But this year, they have their first 4 games are against teams that have won at least 10 games, okay, and 3 of those games are on the road. So it's not easy to repeat here normally. But when you have a schedule like this, it's going to be especially difficult.
It's going to be difficult. There's no doubt about it. And another team that is considered a loser when it comes to the scheduling is the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, think about this. The Kansas City Chiefs defense has been decimated from the standpoint of their secondary. McDuffie and Watson, they're going to be big-time stars with the Rams now. So that means that in Kansas City, they're going to have to be about the business of growing some young, perhaps talented secondary guys. And as we know, That's a position, Vince, that takes a lot of time to grow and develop and mature. So while they're in the process of growing and developing and maturing, it's not going to be until week 12 through 17 that those young guys encounter these quarterbacks. Josh Allen, Matthew Stafford, Joe Burrow, Drake May, Brock Purdy, and Justin Herbert. That's some of the top quarterbacks in the National Football League. And can you imagine a set of young defensive backs having to deal with these guys early in the season? No, that's not going to do it that way. This was deliberately done to make sure that these young corners have a chance to grow into their position before they face these quarterbacks.
Well, the Hunt family's got something to say about that, I think, Jack, just like we said about the Rams, but I think that it's going to give them plenty enough time to develop those defensive backs, Jackie, because the fact that you have Steve Spagnuolo, you have that type of coaching staff.
Oh, he's a great
don't forget, they got Eric Bieniemy coming back to help this offense.
Right.
So
it's going to take a little time for them to gel.
Yeah, and so by mid-season, they're going to be on a roll. And I think, you can't discount Patrick Mahomes. He's just too good of a quarterback. But I think, Mike, we have to pay some attention to basically what the NFL is doing with this international and this streaming.
Before we do that, not so fast.
Yes.
Let's take a quick look at the Chargers.
Okay.
One of the hardest midseason stretches in the NFL from weeks 3 through 10. They're going to be facing teams including Buffalo, Seattle, Kansas City, the Rams, Baltimore. What do you think?
Well, it's a stretch.
It's
a
tough
stretch for them.
They're
going to have to perform, Mike. But this is a new team with a new offensive philosophy. Okay, they've been like, let's just power and let's just run this 3 downs in a cloud of dust. No, this right now, Justin Herbert's going to be opened up in his offense with the new coach. And I think whatever he does, he's just going to expand this entire team. And they're going to be throwing the ball. They're going to be they're going to trick plays. They have it all set up. So this is a work in progress. And I think as the season progresses along, you're going to see the Chargers gain a lot of stability.
I agree with you 100%.
I think so.
I think that the new offensive coordinator is going to be a special addition to the what Harbaugh is doing here in Los Angeles. And the mere fact that they're going to have the first 2 or 3 games in addition to the playoffs not the preseason, to get this team going in the right direction, get this team doing what their new offensive coordinator wants them to do. I think it's going to afford them the opportunity, because you think about the personnel on the Chargers, they don't really suck the hind tit to anyone. These guys are capable, more than capable. They got good pass rush. They got great cover guys. They got guys in the linebacker level that can cover and hit. They got really good personnel. So you give them, along with a new offensive coordinator, you give them a month, 3 weeks into the regular season, and then you serve up a schedule like the Buffalo Bills, the Seahawks, the Chiefs, the Rams, and the Baltimore Ravens. Those should prove to be some really quality football games. And one of the things that's going to happen with these games, Vince, because of the way the Chargers will be playing at that time, is a lot of betting. There's going to be a lot of gambling going on relative to these games.
Well, Mike McDaniel's going to make it happen.
Back to your point,
for sure.
Vince. Back to your point.
Yeah.
I blinked, and all of a sudden, I think we were in a soccer league here. There's a full slate of international games in the NFL last year. We had 1, 2, or 3, or 4. How many they got now, Vince?
They have 9 scheduled, and they want to go to 16 games. So
that's
every
what
week,
the commissioner said. He wants
16
games.
A different team will be traveling abroad to play this football that we play here in the United States, to play it internationally. So, maybe expansion is good. It's good from the viewpoint of world eyes on this game, because a lot of people love to watch it. But this is not soccer. This is American football, and they call football soccer in Europe. Mm-hmm. So this is the biggest difference. But I think the league is now showing signs of expansion, because not only are they expanding the scheduling, Jackie, they're also going to streaming effects to get this widespread. And this streaming effect now is money management, I think, what I see. And actually the money's coming from the fans. And how can you gouge the fans even more money to pay to watch? Because not only are they paying top dollar to go watch a game in person, to buy a ticket, the parking, and now you're gouging them with staying at home in your own living room to watch a game. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, Vince, I think it's.
I mean, you can't get blood from a turnip now.
If you're living in our country and you're a football fan, that's an easy conclusion to come to, being gouged and whatnot. But when you think about the big picture of what they're trying to do in the National Football League, they're trying to grow this game into a grand, worldwide, relationship. Just like we appreciate pro football in America right here now the way we do. They want it to be a worldwide thing. Think about this, Vince.
But they want to schedule these really big games, Jackie, these big contests out of this. And you know what time you have to watch it here in the States?
3 hours
3 in the morning.
Yeah, 3 hours.
Who's going to stand up? Who's going to stay up all night to watch it?
Good morning.
Think about this. They're looking to forge relationships with international media. So you're talking about this is growing.
Well, then
the game.
schedule a game that's not an individual contest or a big rivalry game, Jackie. Schedule a team that you're going to play across the country.
Yeah.
How about the 49ers going up against the Rams in Week 1 in Melbourne, Australia,
Yes.
Jackie?
Well,
how does that work?
I'm just going to say this.
How's that work?
There's a guy named Shahid Khan who's worth about $123 billion. He owns the Jacksonville. He's from Pakistan. He owns the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Jaguars are playing outside of the country in 2 consecutive weeks. Now, you tell me.
In England.
Can you imagine that some of the, can you
He's
imagine
from England.
that
I
there's a
wonder
few
why.
more Shahid Hakans out there from all over the country who would like to own their own NFL franchise? And if NFL football becomes a national, if it is to become a national phenomenon, it's going to take more people like Shahid Khan with plenty of deep pockets that can buy and relocate and facilitate foreign football in their countries. And that's what I'm expecting to happen, Vince. I'm really expecting this to be an international game.
Vince, didn't the NFL have like a protection rule allowing teams to block certain home games from being moved to international sites? Is that still part of this deal, or did that fly out the window as well?
That's a good question, Mike. They did. They could block 4 or 5 different combination of teams.
Yeah.
But now they've reduced that to 2 games.
Yeah.
So now you can only protect 2 of your opponents to play overseas. So the league is really much in pretty much control in how they schedule and when they schedule these games. And how much time rest do you need in the NFL? It's not like playing basketball where they play every other night. You need 5 or 6 days of rest. So I mean, it's tough especially when you start to incorporate traveling overseas an 18-hour flight.
Well,
and time change.
And once again, echoing, I don't want to be redundant by repeating this, but I think the National Football League and its leadership wants to grow this game into a national phenomenon. And when you think about it, the National Football League Vice President of Broadcast Planning, his name is Mike North. He said there is a lot of conversation about really eliminating the protection in their entirety. In other words, don't tell me that you can't go here for this game or that game, because we're talking about eliminating that, and for the betterment of the National Football League and the world that's craving our game. We want to be able to put whatever team we want in whatever city we want them to play in at our disposal, and you're a part of the National Football League. You have to go along with the plan. That's what they're moving towards right there, Vince.
NFL Mike North, the VP of Broadcast Planning, said, quote, "There's a lot of conversation about really just eliminating the protections in their entirety."
Yeah, right. That's
Good
exactly
luck.
what I'm saying. So if
have
that
no
happens,
control.
Mike, if that happens, then the 49ers won't
Rams.
be able to say, I don't want to go to Argentina and play. We don't want to go this week, and we don't want to go in week 9, because they're looking at the fact that they're going to get an extra 2 or 3 days off to rest their team. That's going to go out of the window, and they're not going to have the right to make those decisions. Those decisions are going to be made by the league, the leaders in the National Football League, and that everyone else will have to comply. You have to go along with everything that's being decided.
Roger Goodell says, you can't have a team say, well, I don't want my 2 best games eligible for international.
Right.
What kind of message does that send to the international fans? international fans. I thought the NFL was built upon
right.
fans here in the United
That's
States,
correct.
Vince.
Well, that's true.
He did what he do. He did what he do.
That's
We're going to have a
true.
lot of sayings in this
It
next
is
segment.
built. It is
Did
built
what he
on the fans in America. But like I say, the National Football League is the best game in the world, and that bar to me
Literally.
that's the best game in the world, and I think that's what the vision is for the National Football League, is to make it a global game.
All
Or a
right.
sandwich short of a picnic, okay?
Go to harmonycheese.com, order your cheese, and while you're there, order a to-go pack so you can take your cheese with you wherever you got to follow your team to Argentina. harmonycheese.com. We'll be back. We're back with On Point Live with Ferragamo and Jackie Slater. Check us out at our website, onpointlive.net. Don't forget us on Instagram, on.point.live. Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to On Point Live with Vince and Jackie. And check out our great sponsor, harmonycheese.com. When you get your cheese, go to that website, harmonycheese.com. You're checking out time for the first time. Get 10% off your order when you mention CRN Talk. All right, so the schedule we've found out is really crazy. ESPN has calculated the Rams' win probability for every game this season, and they say Los Angeles has the highest projected win total in the NFL. We'll start with you, Vince.
Well, over 50% of the guesswork there is say the Rams are going to win every game. So, in total of 13 games overall.
Do you agree with that, Vince?
I think they're going to come pretty close to that number, Jackie, because of the way they've scheduled these games, the amount of rest. The Rams have to play this year on Christmas Day, and they played Thanksgiving Eve. So, but they do have enough time on those short weeks because of the bye the previous week. So something's kind of fishy there how they schedule these games.
They're going to be rested.
Yeah,
There's
10 days before their Thanksgiving Day, which is a Wednesday now.
Yes.
We've never played a football game on a Wednesday, so almost every night of the week you're going to have football, whether you like it or you don't. The Chiefs, they have 8 days preparation for that game the following week. And then the 49ers, 10 games. Why would they give you 10 days to prepare for the 49ers, I wonder?
Well, let me tell you something, and these are facts. You can take this to the bank.
Good.
When you get that late in the season, in a National Football League season, after your team has contended with some of the top talent, the top talent in the world at playing this great sport, you better believe your team needs rest. And if the Rams are allowed to get proper rest and get rested up with the talent that they have, with the coaching staff that they have, the Rams can beat anybody. I can see that being a very realistic possibility, Vince, because Sean McVay historically has had a very well-coached team on both sides of the ball. And he's had guys to play excellent football at every key position on the team. And now we're getting some younger guys, like Young and the other pass rusher on the other side. Guys are growing into their positions, growing into their careers, and they're still healthy. They're still in their prime. I can see the Rams winning 13.2 games. I think was what he figured. Mike Clay figured they would win. I can see them winning that and then some, Vince, because they are a special organization right now. There's no doubt about it. I'm not being biased because I played with that organization for 20 years. You ask anybody who is one of the best coached, one of the best manned football teams in pro football, and certainly in the NFC, they're probably going to say the Rams.
There are positions that
and a team
require
that likes to
experience.
travel. They're projected to travel the second most miles in the NFL this season, 34,847 miles, trailing only the San Francisco 49ers at 38,105 miles.
But don't forget the rest, right, Vince? Don't forget the rest.
Yeah, it's very important. The only game the Rams don't have much rest, Jackie, is the 5 games preparation before they play Seattle in Seattle. They don't do well in Seattle anyway, so they probably just chalk that up as a loss.
But what about the quality of the teams, those 5 games?
Well, prior to that, they'll have beaten up on most of their teams, so they can take another break.
So it's not like they're going to be.
They can play their reserves.
It's not like they're going to be dueling with.
Maybe
the
Ty
very best
Simpson will get some action in that
who
game.
knows?
Huh? Maybe we'll get to see him
he
a
won't
little
have
bit,
to if Matthew Stafford is
well,
healthy and doing what he needs to do. Hopefully we don't see Ty Simpson for a while.
Well, we did talk about experience, Mike, and I think the Rams did it right. I think they went after Trent McDuffie and then Watson in secondary, and those are positions that you need experienced, well-developed players.
Absolutely.
Okay, and they will make a difference, and then that'll strengthen their defense. On offense, obviously, the quarterback needs a lot of experience, but offensive linemen, tackles, yes. Interior guys, maybe it can bring in a young kid, here or there. But they've kind of got it figured out. I don't think we'll see much impact from the rookie class this year for the Rams because they did such a great job with trades over the past.
They certainly did.
I guess those old TV blackout rules have been thrown out the window too, Jackie Slater. The Rams have been given an NFL high 7 primetime games for the 2026 season, ties the all-time record for the most nationally televised standalone appearances in a single year, playing teams like the 49ers, the Giants, the Broncos, Bills, Green Bay Packers, Kansas City, and Seattle. Looks like they're going to get some primetime coverage.
Yeah, but is that a surprise?
No.
Does that surprise you when we sit here and we talk about the National Football League consistently, even over in Europe, wanting to put their best foot forward? Why would you not schedule a football team like the Rams to play primetime games? The whole art of the business of running the National Football League has to do with attracting fans. Attracting fans, and nobody wants to see bad football. Nobody wants to see ignorant people calling plays. They want to see smart football. They want to see smart guys calling plays, and they want to see big-time players put in a position where they can make big-time plays. And that's what Sean McVay and his staff has done ever since this guy has been here. I want to see brilliance. I want to sit there and be, at the end of the day during the holidays or in the tough times when you get to sit at home and watch games. I want to sit there and feel like, hey man, that was one hell of a game that we just got done watching. And not only were the players great, but look at the decisions that the coaches made. And we get that all the time with Sean McVay and his staff, Vince.
You don't want to have not the sharpest tool in the shed. Okay?
What's that, Vince?
Yeah.
You don't want to ever have not the sharpest tool in the shed.
On a nationally televised game, you want the sharpest tool in the shed, not the dullest tool. And McVay.
Come on, we got 2 minutes. What other sayings you got, Jack?
Oh man,
Oh man,
there's a lot of things.
These guys
couldn't hit a bull in the butt with a bass fiddle.
Oh man,
that's what you say about some of these teams. You don't want to say that about your favorite team playing a nationally televised game at prime time. You don't want to say he couldn't hit a bull in the butt with a bass fiddle about your quarterback.
You can't hit the broadside of a barn.
You want your quarterback to be threading the needle. You see, threading the needle means putting it exactly where it's supposed
Mike's
to be.
got
How
one.
about he couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat? All right. So here's the deal.
We don't want those kind of guys throwing a football at primetime games. That's for sure.
All right, let's take the final seg here and talk about the NBA Conference semifinals for 2026.
How about Wemby?
Knicks sweeping Philadelphia, Jackie.
Oh yeah,
How about
the Knicks are awesome,
you know,
man. That Jalen Bronson, Jackie.
I said this. I've said this. For years and years. I've always said football is a big man's game.
Yeah.
And a good big man is always better than a good little man. I've always believed that.
I wonder why.
I've always believed that. And basketball, I left a little room for that over the years because I saw guys like Isaiah Thomas, and I saw guys like Spud Webb and little guys that could change direction and just beat you.
Michael Jordan.
But I'm going to have to go back to my old saying.
Yeah.
Basketball is a big man's game.
Wilt Chamberlain,
and a good big
Shaq
man,
O'Neal.
A good big man is always better than a good little man. If you do
Willis
not like,
Reed.
if you
Willis
do not
Reed.
like,
we're talking about the Knicks now.
yeah,
Jackie,
I know. We
man.
go by Willis Reed,
Come
Wes
on, man.
Unseld, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and all of those
How about
guys.
Walt Frazier?
Willie,
remember Walt Frazier? I used to wear the
yeah,
Puma
but he
shoes
was a little
because
guy. He was a little guy.
Yeah, I know, but that's all right.
But
To get the whole thing.
Wembenyama.
Oh man,
This guy is unbelievable, man. He's the biggest man in the league. And you know what, Vince? I have never seen even Shaq, and he was an intimidating force defensively in the paint.
What about Kareem,
And
man, with the sky hook?
But Kareem,
he could say, see if you can block
but
this.
Vince, I'm talking
no
about from a
this.
standpoint of making people alter their shots.
Oh, that's on
making
defense.
People try to make. I mean, some of the shots, some of the balls that these guys are throwing up in there because of Wembyama's ability to block shots, they don't have a snowball's chance in Hades of falling in that basket. They're just throwing the ball up, hoping somebody get a rebound and put it up on a second look.
No, the Thunder, Mike, had to alter their game plan. They can shoot on the outside. Their middle range shot, even with SGA in there, I mean, it was disrupted somewhat
because they're uncomfortable.
They're uncomfortable. They're double teamed down low, and when you shoot less than 50%, that's uncomfortable for SGA. He scores. He's a score machine.
Right. And from right in around the paint, 3 feet outside
go out
of
and buy a brand new TV and mount it on the wall vertically to watch Wembyama play his games right now, so I can at least see him actually throw the ball.
He's but what a force he is, Mike, and what a great game that was, double overtime in game 1 of a 7-game series. It's probably going to go 7. Both these teams, and the only team, Jackie, that consistently beat the Thunder this year, OKC, was the Spurs.
The San Antonio Spurs.
So it's the only team. And why is that? Because look who you've got.
Because look who you got from all of the starting five,
man.
especially.
He can do it all.
But you know, a lot of people seem to be amazed that Wembanyama can take and hit a 3-point shot from way out. And I think we shouldn't be surprised to see some of the big people 6'10" and up knocking down those threes, because I can remember as far back as in 1963 in Jackson, Mississippi, one of the most accurate high school big shot makers from outside of the three was a guy named James Edwards, Big James Edwards. And he could knock down a three from anywhere in 3-point land, and it was because he was tall. I think he saw the hoop better, and it doesn't surprise me. When Wembanyama takes a shot from 3-point territory and he knocks it down, that doesn't surprise me at all, because I think they have a different view of the hoop. I think they can see it better, and it's more like lobbing it in a swimming pool as opposed to shooting it into a small basket. I just think that's a huge advantage for him when he takes those shots.
And for them to beat the Thunder the way they did, Mike, it was a close game, double overtime. But the Thunder they're so deep in their bench. Alex Caruso came in and was hitting every 3-point shot. He was guarding Wembanyama pretty darn good low at a time. They had Jalen Williams there. They got Chet Holmgren. Who else? They got Isaiah Hartenstein.
They didn't do that
AJ
good of a job.
Mitchell.
He scored 40 points.
But everybody's stepping up, Mike.
And they didn't block him out, Vince, because he had 24 rebounds.
Well, that's what one guy can do. He can do so much damage.
It's a big man's game.
Well, you know what, Mike?
Good big
I really
man is
saw
always
when
better than a
SGA
good
got
little
the
man.
MVP. Did that not spur on Wembanyama to say, "Look, I'm going to show you.
Yeah, well,
I'm going to show you who's
I
the
don't
MVP."
know. I don't know.
I thought they were going to come out and just do that, and they did it.
Yeah. Well,
after they announced that MVP, I'm telling you right now.
When they announced the MVP, I was a little surprised.
Well, I wasn't surprised that SGA got it.
Well,
I just thought it should have been a co-MVP.
I just thought that, you look at a guy who changes everything about the organization, and you can't say to me that Wembanyama hasn't changed everything about that organization and impacted the win-loss record over there.
It's a culture now. It's a new culture, okay?
And he's scoring points, but Vince, what the man is doing is preventing baskets. People are altering their shots. They're shooting shots that they don't normally
Let me tell you what it is, Jackie. It's quiet dominance, just like Kareem did for the Lakers. He came in quietly, just dominated.
Yes.
That's what Wembanyama's doing, and it changed the whole culture of the team.
And
I'm just saying.
You know what else? You know what else changed in Vince? When he elbowed that young man in the jaw.
Yeah.
It was a violent thing, and he got thrown out of the game.
Yeah.
From that point on, since he's come back and
owned it.
He's competing at a whole different level.
Exactly.
It's like he all of a sudden figured out, hey,
this is what I have to do here.
This is what
this
I
is
have
how
to
I
do
play
here.
basketball here
I
and not in
here,
France.
And at least these guys know they can't be pushing me around all the time without me making them pay some cost or the other. And that'll bag guys up
damage.
That'll bag guys up off of you in a minute.
Let us know your thoughts on point at crntalk.com. That is our email address. We'll read them on the air, on point at crntalk.com. Don't forget our great sponsor, harmonycheese.com. Go to their website, order some of the great cheeses they have for you. When you check out, if it's your first order, mention CRN Talk get 10% off your order. And subscribe to our On Point Live page there so you can get our YouTube channel. Subscribe to On Point Live with Vince and Jackie. We'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to wrap things up here with Vince Ferragamo and Jackie Slater on Point Live. We are back with On Point Live. Thanks to Corey Marino, our producer. I'm Michael Horn. Stars of our show, Jackie Slater and Vince Ferragamo. So we got these finals coming up here, the Spurs Thunder and the Cavs Knicks. Vince, what do you think?
Well, God willing and the creek don't rise, Mike, I think I got to go with – I have to go with OKC because that's what I picked originally. And, they have just too much depth on this team. And as good as I know Wemby is, I just think that this team, in Game 1, they had a chance to win it. They're just going to have to manage the clock, the 30-second clock, a little better down the stretch. And I think this is all coachable. This team is not phased at all for losing because they had a chance to win the game. They know it. So, and overall, they can do that.
Vince is basing his comments on the fact that he felt that Wemby was probably going to get kicked out of the game. He's certainly not considering the impact that the big man is having. And as I said earlier, basketball is a big man's game. And a good big man is always better than a good little man. So I'm going with the San Antonio Spurs.
But don't forget, OK's got two big men.
Yeah, I know.
Two big men down there, not just one.
Yeah, but they've been on the court the same time that he has, and they haven't had the impact.
How about taking those two big guys and doubling Wemby?
Yeah, but you can't
neutralize him a little bit
can't
more.
put them both on the court at the same time.
Yeah, it's all right.
And you can't
what
double
him. What about the Cavs Knicks? What do you like in the
Cavs Knicks? Okay, this is an interesting matchup here because I kind of like Donovan Mitchell, and I like James. Okay, he's bound to win one here, and I like Jared Allen. I like the matchup with him against Towns because I think he's got a little different athletic ability to make moves underneath the basket, and I think this what's going to make the difference. I'm going to take the Cavs because I took them, but I thought the Celtics were going to go all the way. My next choice was the Cavs. I'm going to stick with it, but I think the Thunder will win it all.
Jackie?
Well, I'm going with Bronson and the Knicks, and Karl Anthony Towns Karl Anthony Towns is a guy to me who lifts his game around the quality of the competition that he has, and so I'm expecting him to show up big. He can be an accurate shot maker from all over the court, outside the 3-point zone, in the paint. He can play well. I'm looking for he and Bronson to dominate the matchup at their position and give them the best chance to win the game.
Thanks to our sponsors, HarmonyCheese.com. 10% off when you check out On Point at CRN Talk is our website. This is one of the great shows of all time. OnPointLive.net, our website. Gentlemen, I want to remind you, what do we always say?
Stay on point.